Now I don't often do affiliated sponsored videos, but today I'm going to do one, and it's for this little flashlight. It's the Wuben E7. Now Woodburn reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review this product and use it on my channel, and I thought, why not? It's getting to that time of year again where having a torch is pretty practical. You know, the nights are drawn in, and I bought this last year and I really like this torch, this little V10 thingy. I did have a problem with my original one, but I got replaced no problem, and I've been using this a lot. It's great for working on inside of computers, inside little handhelds like I usually do. It's got a magnet on it, so I can attach it to, say, the camera mount and shine a bit extra light into what I'm working on, and that makes a big difference to me. So when I was offered this for review, I thought, well, first I'll have a look on their website, which I did, and I have to say I was quite impressed with, well, it's a German website for a start. I was quite impressed with some of the stuff that they list with this little torch. I mean, it's a funny shaped little thing. It has a clip on it, which allows you to clip it onto a shirt or onto a brim of a hat. It also comes with a few extra add-ons. You can take off the screw cap here, take the battery out, put a larger one in, put a larger cap on the end, and it takes up to an 18650 battery cell. Haven't got that. It also comes with a head strap, which you can clip this onto and use it like a head torch. I really want to try that out. So if this video is successful, I might use some of the money made with the video and purchase that, and we'll try that a little bit further on the channel. But without further ado, with the power of editing, let's do a little unboxing of this. So here it is. So while I'm unboxing this, I'm going to tell you some of the specification of this little W7 torch, and or flashlight. I keep calling it a torch because I'm in the UK, but I know a lot of my viewers are in the US, so it's a flashlight. So yep, comes pretty well packaged. Now this little torch, oh there we go again. This little flashlight is compact, but it has high lumen output, which is something that the Wuben highlighted to me, and I tend to agree. It's pretty impressive. It's got a pretty long battery life. This has a smaller battery in it than the one I was just mentioning earlier. You can put an 18650 battery in this one, an extra little adapter which you have to purchase from their website. This comes with an 18350, which is actually pretty impressive. So it's nicely packaged. It looks pretty professional. I mean, it's a lot better than a lot of the stuff that you see coming out of China. This is, you know, it's a German advertised website. Everything's in German. You have to translate the website, but it's a pretty good site. Let's get this open. So it's down as being affordable. I think at the moment it's about $30. And if you use the discount code, which I'll include, I've got an affiliate link, I'll include that, you will get 20% off, I believe. So, and I'll get a small kickback as well. So yeah, even that box looks pretty good. You have inside a little user guide. Now the writing on this is absolutely tiny. It's in lots of different languages. And I did have to use this, I have to admit, because it has quite a lot of functionality. Some of it I'm not really using, some of it I am, and I'm really impressed with it, so we'll get into that in a moment. Here's the little flashlight itself. Let's put that to one side. You get a little box in here as well, which includes, quite conveniently, a little lanyard strap, which is really useful. There's a clip there that you can put it through. It also comes with its own USB cable, which I haven't actually used as yet. So it's a little USB to USB-C cable, which is really handy to have. And there's one other thing in here, I think. Yep, there is. It's that box empty. You get a couple of O-rings, because this flashlight is waterproof for up to 1 hour. Up to 1 metre, I think it is. So it's IP68. 2 metres underwater for 1 hour, it says. So you get quite a lot of good stuff in there. I bought a flashlight once before that came with a couple of O-rings, and it's really useful when you get spare ones in it. So it won't actually work just yet. It's got a little plastic cap inside to stop the battery from connecting. On the top here, you've got a little rubberized cover which you can pull off. There's your USB-C connector. It fits in pretty well. The clip on this is really strong. We'll unscrew this. And I've actually been testing this for a little over a week. There you go, there's a little plastic cap. I'll take that out. And I'll show you the battery cell itself. So it comes with this included. So, Wuben branded, 18350, 1100 milliamp hours, 3.96 watt hours, and it's a 3.6 volt battery. Now, I've got a charger that will charge these, so that's why I was quite keen to get this product to review, and I hadn't realised it was going to have its own built-in USB-C charger, and I've used this, and it charges really rapidly, I have to say. It's really decent, so You'll if you buy one of these, you'll find you get lots of good use out of it. It's got a magnetised base. It's a really strong magnet on this. This will hold the whole weight of this thing, no problem. Really good quality brass sort of finish. Spring in there as well, because it's a really good contact. And the one thing I've been dying to do since I got this is peel off this little blue sticker, which tells you to please remove the battery insulation before using it. So that's that little blue sheet that I removed. So let's get this off. This has been on here for a week and it may not want to come off. There we go, it's coming now. Now I don't have the equipment to test and back up their lumens claims, but it is 2 Osram LEDs that are in this, so they're pretty decent quality. I mean, I've no way to actually get into this to actually crack them open and confirm it. I don't really want to take the thing apart just to destroy it, but it's claimed light output, and I'll overlay this on the video. It has 3 main settings, I would say. It's got a low power output, which is 5 lumens. That apparently will go for about 60 hours, which is pretty impressive. I've used it in the low, using it in the low output quite often actually. It's perfect for shining inside of a small device. You want a good quality torch with a decent light beam, but not too bright. It certainly hits the mark for that. The longest I've tested it on that setting was 7 hours. I just left it on for 7 hours and I basically got bored. It says it'll go for 60 hours. I have no reason to disbelieve that. The medium setting is 150 lumens, and that claims its runtime would be 4.5 hours, and that's on this 18350 battery. It'll be a lot longer if you put the 18650 in. Now the 18650, you unscrew this bit, take the battery out, you screw an extra extension on, and then the cap will go on the end of that. Not tested that though. The output for the medium setting, 150 lumens, is 4.5 hours. Now I've tested that and I concur. That's about 4.5 hours, so it lasted about slightly over 4.5 hours before it shut down. Now it shuts down, but it's not dead at that point. It will still turn back on and run at the low setting, or the medium setting again for a little while before reverting back to the low setting. Seems to be quite intelligent, this little thing. The high setting is 400 lumens and it'll go for 1.3 hours. So that's not a massive amount of runtime, but it's probably enough, because in the high setting it is pretty bright. And on top of that, it has a turbo setting. So with a different number of clicks on the top, you can turn this lamp on through its different features. And the turbo feature boosts up to 1800 lumens, apparently, and it will run at that for 1 minute. And then it will switch down to 800 lumens, which is slightly higher, well, double the output of the high setting. And you'll see that it does dim. Now this thing is bright enough at the 1800 lumens to light a room, a pitch black room. And at that point, it will drop down to 800 lumens, it will run there for about a minute again, and then it will switch down to the high setting, which is the 400 lumens, and it will run for about 1.2 hours. Now, I don't know if I said, but the high setting, 400 lumens, claims 1.3 hours. And I think that's probably about accurate. So yeah, the turbo setting is absolutely fantastic. It blows people away. I've shown it to a few people and they're just like, wow, that is so bright. Now, that's not its only settings. It also has a strobe effect, which is 1000 lumens. It is very bright. It's quite painful on the eyes. It has an SOS setting where it'll do, just basically blink SOS. That's 200 lumens, so that'll obviously give it a reasonable runtime at that. Now, the beam distance is claimed to be 132 metres. We'll try it out in my garden later on tonight. My garden's not 132 metres, but we'll see how well it lights the garden. Things like the intensity, it says here, the candela is 4356. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Again, I don't have the tools to test that, but it is a really bright little flashlight. Now, it says the LEDs I mentioned before, it's Osram. They're P9s apparently, just so you know. There's an impact resistance of 1.5 metres, IP68 as I mentioned earlier, and it's 80 grams, so it's actually pretty light. Now its dimensions are 60.6 millimetres, which will be the height I'm guessing, 24 millimetres, which I think is the width, the depth is a little bit greater, so that's 28.01 millimetres. And it's great. Now let's quickly go through some of the settings. As I know, I'm not going to look in the manual, well, we'll look in the manual, I'll show you the page, but if you initially press the button, it will go on to its lowest setting. And if you press and hold the button, it's got a little indicator LED on the top, which lets you know how charged the bar is. Blue, I think, means it's just fully charged. It will glow red when it's charging. So that's on the lowest setting. Actually, that is not the lowest setting. Now it's on its lowest setting, which I can turn a little bit and show the camera. That's 5 lumens. It will remember the last setting you used it on before you switched, or when you switched it off. So by default, it'll go on at 5 lumens. If you press and hold the button for a second, it'll go to its next setting, which is medium. If you turn it off at that point with a single press, when you turn it back on, it'll remember that setting. So that's why it was on medium. If you press it and hold it again, it'll go to the high setting. Now that is 400 lumens, as we mentioned earlier. If we go down to the lowest setting, which is 5 lumens, and turn it off, you see it turns back on that. If you press it twice, it will go to the turbo mode, which is absolutely mind-blowingly bright. We'll see how this turns out. I might have to turn down the brightness on this video. So there you have it. Now, that is just unbelievably bright. If you push it once, it'll switch off. Or if you push it twice again. Oh, I thought pushing it twice again went back to the normal setting, just doesn't do anything. So, yeah, turn it off and back on, it'll go back to its low setting. If you push it, I think it's 3 times, so let's have a look in the manual here. So low, medium, bright, we've done that. Turbo, 2 presses, 3 presses will go to strobe. So before we show you the strobe, quick warning. This is going to strobe in a minute. I will turn the brightness down somewhat so that it's not too dazzling, just so you can see. But if you're affected by strobe lights, look away now for about the next 10 seconds or skip forward. So it's 3 presses to put the strobe mode on. I think 1 more press to go to SOS. So we'll give that a go now. So to get into the SOS, it's 3 presses and then 3 presses. So if you don't like strobe lights, can't go by strobe light, just don't press it 3 times. There isn't, unfortunately, a way to turn that off. I wish there was, because I don't use that feature, to be honest. And in fact, for me, I would probably want to turn off the high setting. Now I do have one torch, which I bought years ago, which let you, if you opened the bottom up, you could adjust a little bit by soldering little pads, and you could turn on and off features. That was great, but this doesn't have that, unfortunately. Okay, so this first setting we see here is the low setting, which is 5 lumens. And as you can see, it's not really meant for outdoors. It's great for shining into products, computers, when you're looking in corners of, a room or whatever. Next up, we have the medium brightness, which is 150 lumens. Now this lights up about 50% of my garden, which I've measured at about 90 feet long. Next up, we have high brightness, 400 lumens, and this pretty much reaches to the bottom of my garden. Now here we have turbo mode, which is 1800 lumens, which lights the bottom of my garden and probably beyond, no problem. Also gives a really wide pool of bright, clean light. And here we are switching back from turbo to the high setting. As you can see, it lights up well, but the pool of light is just not as wide as when it's in turbo, but it's still perfectly usable. And we'll just go through some of the settings now. Back to low, 5 lumens. Medium, 150 lumens. High, 400 lumens. Turbo, 1800 lumens. Now, there's a little warning here. This is going to strobe at 1000 lumens. And finally, here's the SOS at 200 lumens. So one of the things I liked about this, as I mentioned earlier, it comes with like a mount so that you can put this on a headband. It also has mounts where you can put it onto like a bike, which I thought was pretty good. So there's a clip for that. And I think that's us mostly through it. So operating manual here. Things to check if you have problems. I suppose what I could show you again is where this O-ring is. So it's just on there. So these things don't last forever. If it gets damaged, it'll ping off and you just stretch a new one over it. So, yep. Again, though, I'm really impressed with this little flashlight. I'm going to use this a lot. I've used this solid for the last week and a half, and I've really had no complaints with it. I've not tried dropping it, but it's very sturdy. It feels like it's solid aluminium construction. This is obviously where all the fun happens. This bit's screwed in here. And you probably lift this part out where the lights are. It claims it can survive a 1.5 metre fall, and I don't tend to think that won't be true. So if you're in the market for a little flashlight, you could probably go further wrong than getting this. If you're interested, I've put a link in the description below with my affiliate link on that. I think I get a little, it's probably 10%. I think I get kickback if you purchase one via that link. Up to you what you do. And thanks for watching this video. Bye for now.